This is a wire brushed floor that has a sliver or a longer gouge in it. And what I'm going to do is find some colors that are going to blend with this floor. And then I'm going to mix them together to get a closer match. And then once I get that mixed up correctly, then I will go ahead and lay it into the crack. And from there, then I'll address it in smoothing it out, adding a little bit of wire brush texture to it, and hopefully that will be a very nice looking repair. So I've used 3 different colors to make a mix, and so now what I want to do is to go ahead and get that off of here, soften it up a little bit. And then once I've done that, I'll come back here and scrape some of that off. And I will utilize that mixture into the gap that was there. You got to watch the heat on your iron. If it gets too hot, it'll start burning the wax and it'll darken it. So you got to be careful there. But if you can work with a cooler iron, but hot enough to melt the wax, it works much better. While it's still drying, I will try to scrape off the excess. And then with a rag, I'll come back and buff that in a little bit. I'll add a little bit of the wire brushing to get it out of the original wire brushing of the floor. And then once you get the base down, you will have to adjust the color slightly so it matches a little bit better. And so now the gouge is filled. Now it's just, you can color it a couple of different ways. You can add more detail to the color of the wax, or you can then use markers to blend that floor in a little bit closer in its appropriate color. So there's a lot of different ways you can add some additional detail to it. And so if I was to try to come in here and add a little bit of tone to it, so I'm using it's called a Prismacolor, and that marker I actually find at Hobby Lobby, or you can find it online as well. And it is a ink marker, so it actually has a nice color fast look to it. You got to just watch that you don't get too much color in, and if you do, you can actually come back with a little bit of mineral spirits on a rag and be able to tone that area back in. So now I think that from where I'm sitting, the only thing that we have now is a little bit of gloss level that's there, and that has to do with the wax. And you can come back and tone that down with the wire brush a little bit so that you lose the shiny part of it. And that generally is going to get you in there pretty nice and clean and tight.